All right, so now that we are in a state where we can debug and we can see our API endpoint, this is where we are going to be able to, continue on. So I'm going to just drag this off the screen for a second here. We're going to go back over to Windsurf where I'm working. Again, use whatever you want. If you don't want to use any coding assistant, you can copy paste over. Just get it done however you need to get it done. So the thing is that this is bringing in that data, which is here, and it's being printed out, which is good. And so we do have our generate app button, right? So it loads the vocabulary, which is here. And then we go all the way down the ground and we have our run state. So in our run state, when it's in this state, sets up the render setup state. So we'll go over to this one here. We have the render setup state. It sets the Japanese language learning app, which we have here. It's more like writing sentence app. So really it should be that, like writing sentence, like Japanese writing practice. So I kind of prefer it to be called that. That's totally fine. And then we have our generate sentence. So pick a random word from the vocabulary. Import random word from the vocabulary, which is fair. Here we only need this Japanese word, which will be the kanji, which it really should be called Japanese, but I called it kanji, which is fine. And these are all verbs, which is not always the most ideal, but the idea is that we want to grab that there. So here it's saying word Japanese because it doesn't know anything about the data structure. And so maybe we should tell it a little bit about that. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this and say, this is the JSON payload structure that comes back from the API. Can you update the code to work with that for the generate sentence button code? Okay, so I'll just paste it in there. It kind of gives it the structure. We could just give it a moment there to figure it out. And so, it has to go within words and then select the word from there. And so we're expecting this code to change. It's interesting that they're importing random here. We could probably just import it at the top. I don't think we should be importing random in line like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and fix that like that. That's a bit silly. And it's still thinking. It's really taking its time here. We have a lot of changes. So here, I don't need this thing to be like that. That's a little bit silly. So I'm going to change that line. This one is kind of stupid. We'll change that one. That was fine. I like how you can accept each line here. And here, check if the response is successful and contains the data. I would rather log it on the back end here. It's storing the group name. We don't really need to do this. So I'm going to reject that. I don't care about that. Yeah, we could do that. That's fine. I'm not really sure if it should be empty or a square. It doesn't really matter here. We have API failed request. That's fine. This is fine. It might still need to be a square. This is fine. This is going to the logger instead of there. And again, this one again. Changed a lot more than I was expecting. And so here, generate a simple sentence using the following word. Generate simple Japanese sentence using the word kanji, English. We don't need to pass it we don't need to pass both the Japanese word and the English word. Let's just pass the Japanese word to the prompt, okay? I don't know why it's doing both. That's just overkill. And we'll wait for that to fix. It is bringing in our prompt document, which is really nice. So I like that. There we go. That looks good. You have more natural Japanese sentences not being influenced by English meaning during the... I don't know if I agree with that reasoning, but that's fine. And so we have this. It says, and then as the debugger, this is using this. This looks old. So I'm going to go over here and say... The OpenAI API calls looks old. I can tell because it's using title case. Can you check the web and see what it's supposed to be? Because that's totally wrong. It's also using GPT-4, which is really old. Bad Google, though. That's not a... This is OpenAPI Python. That's not a good Google. But if it still finds it, I don't really care. I'm not sure where this is coming from. Maybe it's just a document here. It just keeps going, so I can't really see it. Oh, it comes from the internet. All right. Cancel. I'm not trying to close this. I'm just going to ignore that. I'm not sure what's going on there. So it says I can see the syntax now and let me update it. So now it's correcting it because it went out to the internet. It's using GPT-4, which is really, really old. I'd like a newer model than that. Dismiss here. The matches the OpenAI Python syntax. So that is correct. I don't want GPT-4. I want something a little bit better than GPT-4 because that is not very capable. So I'm going to go over to the OpenAI interface. I'd love to try to use this with local models. I am right now just using managed APIs, but if we can, I would like to try to use either my machine or my AI PC, but we will do that. If I have time, I'll do that in a separate video. So I'm going to go back over, I'm going to log into the API over here on OpenAI. I always have a key, but I want to go to the playground. Let's take a look at what we have for models. Model for step-by-step complex. Like, is GPT-4 going to be intelligent enough? I don't feel like it is. So, I don't know. I'd rather use GPT-4o. So that's what I'm going to use. You know, again, if you don't have GPT-4o, like if you don't have paid credits or whatever, you got to work with what you got, or you have to connect locally with whatever it is. But here, this is GPT-4o. So I've changed that over. And here we can see the gradings. So that's that. Anyway, so we'll continue on to the next part. So we have render state setup. Let's look at that again, which is here. And so no vocabulary loaded. That makes sense. Add the group header. And then when we press the button, instead of doing this, it's going to generate sentence. That's better because it's there. And then we have the generated sentence there. And then we have the sentence. And it's storing this current state. That makes sense. And so that will be the first step. I'm going to go ahead and accept all. That looks good to me. Let's go test that and see what happens. So I'm going to go back over to the internet here, drag this on over. We'll give this a nice hard refresh, and now let's see what we get. So here it says the Japanese learning app has no object called group name. So it seems like maybe there's something that's supposed to be there prior, because it does save that group name. I don't know why it does that. I don't really need it. I'm just trying to search for it in here. Group name. I mean, it has it in that step there, but at that point, it wouldn't know what it is, right? It's supposed to get set earlier. Maybe because I rejected it, that's probably why. So we'll go ahead and just comment that out. But maybe we'd want to see it. Maybe that was my mistake. Maybe we should have had that there. But let's go ahead and hit the generate button. Now this should fail because right now, we don't see anything, but right now there are no, we don't have an API hooked up. And I'm not sure if this is still a problem. Because I commented that out. Group name, I just want to see, does that happen anywhere else? Group name, data.get group name. I'm not sure. So I'm going to just stop this for a second. I'm going to restart it back up. I want to see if we can still get the same error. I kind of feel like that's not our error. So we'll hit that. And yeah, we're not getting an error there. Let's go back over to our logs. Receive data from core group. And so we get a blank screen here. Now, to be fair, the OpenAI doesn't go anywhere, right? So like, that's probably what's going on here. So let's go and take a look. So generate sentence. We have logger debug generate sentence for word this. I don't see this being called at all here, right? So, yeah, before it even calls it, we should be seeing this logging here. And if we follow this back up to wherever it's being called, here, we also have selected word here as well, where it says English and Japanese. And here, it says no words found in the vocabulary. I think we would expect to see that. But that's displaying over here. But let's go ahead and see if we have any errors on this side. We don't have any errors on this side. So maybe what we should do is we should put logging here. Like say logger generating sentence. I'm going to stop and start this up again. We probably don't need to do that. And we'll bring back up our tailing here. And so we just got to really step our way through this project. I mean, we did see something appear, right? The only thing that's kind of annoying is we're getting a lot of these repeats. I'm not sure why. Received data from the group. But it's not working. So I'm going to say like when I press the generate sentence button, I just see a blank screen. I don't see any logging, the logging occurring in the log file after the button is pressed. Okay, and we'll see if we can figure it out. I don't like how it's like triple, quadruple logging. That's not our problem. No, 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 no. First, look at why the logging doesn't occur for the button. And the ChatGPT is, the GPT model is correct. You're just out of date. Okay. It is working. Okay. It's completely pointless. Sure. But we don't see the generating sentence log when it's pressed. The click button handle isn't being executed. Streamlit is rerunning the app in a way that affects our logger. Let's modify it. Let me check if there's a missing issue. Sure. Okay. Let's try running the app again and generate the sentence button. Logger should now properly record. Yeah, just because you say it doesn't mean it's true. We're going to go ahead and we're going to try to run this again. Oh, for fricks. Oh, you know it's over here. That's why. And so I'm going to hit stop and start. We'll go and watch the logger. We'll just tail this, sorry. And actually what I'm going to do before we do anything else, I just want to clear everything out of here. So things are a little bit easier for us to see what's going on. And I have it. I'm going to give this a nice hard refresh. We have it. We'll press it now. And generate. I don't know if it actually did it or not. I want these out of here. Don't save. I don't know what that is. Don't save this. But what I'm looking for here, like, this is why I don't think Gradio is worth my time. It's just like so much work to make it work. It's supposed to be easy, and it never is for me. I really regret not just writing this in like React or something. So we have logger.debug vocabulary generate logger. So what I'm trying to figure out is like when the button's pressed. It is pressed. So button state is clicked. I don't see this in the logs, so it's like the button didn't get triggered. Okay, so we'll do that. It's in the correct place, but there might be an issue with how Streamlight is handling the button click or how the logger is correctly configured. Let's modify the click. Add a unique key to the button to ensure the proper state management. Change the button click to use logger.info for better visibility. I don't see why that would matter. Add a session state tracking for the click button, additional logging. Sure. I don't think any of that's going to matter, but we'll go ahead and stop it and start it up again. We're going to go back over to here. I'm refreshing off screen to trigger it here. And I'm pressing the button now. I'm going to go back over to here. We're looking for that click. No, that's not doing anything. Okay, let's think a bit more about the problem. I switch this over to chat because I don't want it to write. It's just going to work us into circles. I don't like that. I don't know. I really don't want to use Streamlit because of this. And it makes me think I should just redo this in Gradio. I'm trying to decide here if I want to do that or not, because I just want this to work, right? And Gradio has fewer moving parts. Anyway, it says set up custom logger, so we have to do more here to do it. That's so much work. Move the logger into the Streamlight session state to prevent the reinstallation every rerun. Add a console handler. Is this really the problem? Does it even know what the problem is? It's just, let me check what happens when the button is clicked. The issue might be with the vocabulary loading or the sentence generation. We're immediately calling experimental rerun. Okay. I'm going to ignore this. Okay, we are going full in here and we're going to figure this out. If there's something experimental in here, I want it gone. I don't want experimental. I don't even know what that is. And we're not even at that stage yet. What is experimental rerun is my first question. Like, what is that? Is that anything? What does it do? What is experimental rerun? We don't even know. Oh man, I don't like this. I don't like this. It's just like too much of a pain. I feel like we could try to get it to work, but it's just like, why? Like, I don't want to spend all day trying to figure out Streamlit. I just want to be productive in coding. So I'm going to switch to something else that's a little bit more reliable. I'm going to try to do this with Gradio instead. So I'm going to go over here and say, back to this. I'm going to say, can we implement this in Gradio? You know, this isn't working. Can we implement this in Gradio instead? Can you make it in a new file? And we'll leave the as reference. Okay, I'll give it write mode, and let's see if we have a better luck with Gradio, because Gradio has fewer moving parts, and this thing is just not exactly doing what we want. Fun stuff. Another thing we could do is we could just try to use like Lovable or something and say, hey, can you generate out the front end for us? So we'll just wait a while and see what it generates out, okay? I'll be back in just a moment. All right, here it's reached a point. I'm going to say accept and let it run the pip here. And so all it's doing is I think it's just added Gradio here. It actually swapped it completely out. It doesn't even have Streamlit anymore. I don't care. Goodbye. Goodbye, Streamlit. And so this one, like, I'm not sure if like they've simplified it. A lot of it looks to be the same. Yeah, but they have this structure that's a little bit different. Okay. The server port is different, so I'm not sure why it's that. This needs to be 8081 though. So I'm going to go back over to here. Let's make sure we've killed the old one. But this is supposed to be 8081, so that's definitely one thing that's slightly wrong. Go ahead and change that. 8081. And here it's suggesting us to start it. So I'm just going to start it myself. So we'll do this. And so here, we'll let it bring back that into this. Well, is it still doing st sub here? Hold on here. Oh, we're not running the right one. So we'll go say Python Gradio app here. At the end of the day, what's important is that we just get it to work. So if we have to switch technologies, so be it. Must be set with either the passing API key or the client here. I'm going to go ahead and add a an env file. I'm going to make a new file in here called .gitignore, and I want to ignore the .env file. We're going to bring in our open API key. So I'll say open API, OpenAI. What's it called? OpenAI API key. And we'll go ahead and do this. I'm doing this off screen here, but I have OpenAI, and you've seen me many, many times grab the API key. Again, whatever LLM you're using, local or managed or whatever, you'll have to figure out that implementation. We cover that all in the GenAI Essentials to show you how to use like so many different types of libraries. So just go ahead and try to choose one the best you can. I'm going to go over to here into, again, I'm doing this off screen. I'm just generating a new key out. And I am going to go into this project here. It's kind of a pain. Manage projects, API keys, delete this one, revoke the key, create a new key. I'm calling this one writing app. I'm going to select this project as basic, create the key. Again, doing this all off screen. Not that it's a big, I just could have showed it on screen because I'm going to show you the key here anyway, because it didn't really matter. And I'll save that. And what we'll do is type in clear. We'll hit up. And so that might fix that issue there. The API key option must be there. Well, you know what? We did install Python. So I'm going to go over here and, or sorry, not Python, but python.env. I don't need a fixed version, so I'm just going to do that. Just trying to make a fixed version. We'll do pip install -r requirements txt. That's going to install it there. I'm going to go into the Gradio app. And the top here, I'm going to say import .env. And then that's the line I want, .env load. So now that should load it into place. When we run this, that error should go away. There we go. It's launched on 8081. We'll go over to here. We'll bring in these values here. And it's loaded up. Looks different. I don't care. As long as it works, that's all that matters to me. And so this is a little bit of a mess. As you can see, we have the sentence here generated, the word information, which that's fine. I guess this is the chosen word. The image we're going to upload in here. If it works, who cares, right? So I'm going to hit generate new button. And so it went out there, and this went to the LLM, right? But it's generated a sentence in Japanese. Anata ga sono ryo? No, I don't know what this word is here. So we might have to help it out there. O yameru hi ki desu. Okay, so the word is great, but that was great. So we'll say the prompt document is, the prompt document, can we refactor it so we are loading the file externally for the sentence generation, for the sentence generator. Okay, and so we'll do that one step there, as I'd rather have it external. Why is it YAML? I don't know if I want it as a YAML file. I mean, it's fine. It does work. Sure. It's not what I would normally do, but that's fine. I guess how's it going to interpret the those fields there? That's what I'm curious about. But you can see up here, like it chose the word English to stop. Yameru. It says reading, reading. I'm not sure why it shows that stuff there. Let's see what it's trying to put in here. PyYAML. Okay. And yeah, we'll run that. Sure, why not? And we'll see if it still works, right? So if it still works, if we're going to solve the same problem, we'll give this a nice refresh here. We'll generate the sentence. We have a sentence. This one, kaku, I believe. Yeah, to read. Oh, to write. Yeah, it's right there. So, but the problem is it's kind of giving it away, right? So it's showing us the word information, and that's kind of a problem. So I would just say the word generator is returning the sentence in Japanese. It has to be in English because the student is going to try and translate it. I don't know, like, it depends. I almost kind of want to change the scope of this app because now that I'm using it and I'm seeing the sentence here, it's too hard even for me. Like, if I had to think about this, like, this is watashi wa mainichi. I'm not sure what the next thing says. O kaku mina ga arimasu, something like that. And so my concern is that it's like we'd have to really work it to make it really simple sentences and give it a lot of examples. I don't want to do that. Maybe what we'll change this into is just writing practice. Okay. So I think it's fine how we're seeing this here. Yeah, we don't really have to change anything, to be honest. Because if it's already producing the Japanese sentence and we see the word information, this is totally fine. I would just say I wish they could make the generated sentence larger. So let's go and say, can you make the generated sentence larger, like the text in the field, so it's easier to read? Let's see if it can do that. If it can, that'd be really cool. I actually kind of dig in the YAML file, but probably not the best way to manage prompts. So there it is working through it there. And we'll give it a moment to see if it can do that. I should really accept the changes so we can see what's going on here, accept all. So let's take a look here and see what we get. Refresh. Generate new sentence. Okay, so let's see what it changed. Here. So I'm not sure if this will work, but I'm gonna make it 40. I want it really, really, really big. I like how it's choosing Noto-sans. I didn't know that was a font. I feel like that's a Google font you'd have to install, but that's totally fine. We're gonna go back over to here, give this a refresh. This box looks bigger. Oh, there we go. That is perfect. Okay, so this is part one of it. It is giving away the word okiru, but let's assume like we don't really want to try to make it as complicated as previous. We just want to be able to write the word out. Now the next part is this upload part. So I guess the question is the rest actually wired? Wow, Gradio was so much easier. I'm so sorry, Streamlit. I just can't love you no matter how many times I try and all the features you do, you're just not the one for me. But, you know, if we look here, what I'm looking for here is the, I'm looking for what happens next. So we load the vocabulary, which is fine. We generate the sentence, which is cool. Get random word and word sentence. Grade submission. To do implementation. So it's not fully implemented, right? So it looks like grade submission is not implemented. Can we go and implement that, please. Remember to read the text specs. And here, I don't think it says anything about what it's using, whether it's Streamlit or whatever. We'll see if we can correct that. Let's see if it can install it. It's like, it's just a, Manga OCR, but I don't know if that's correct. Let's go take a look and see what it has, because it might not know. Manga OCR, Python. And so if we go over to here, maybe. It doesn't say what the name of it is. I mean, the name is up here, so maybe it is that name. So I'll go back over to here. I'm in this model downloads from Hugging Face, right? So do we need like a key to use this? So it doesn't seem like we do. Because the one that Daria had like downloaded from there, but maybe it already has a model within it. That'd be really nice if it did. But even if we didn't have the Manga OCR, we could replace that with another model that has vision and is able to do it. So it's up to you. Like if you have another target language, you'll just have to do that. And you can see like how easy it was for me to get Windsurf or any of these things to kind of implement this stuff for me. I'm not sure what's happening to our output here. It's kind of acting a little bit funny. But while I'm waiting here, I'm just going to stop this. I'm going to wait for this to finish. I'll be back in just a moment, okay? This app seems to be having a lot of trouble. I've seen this one here doing a bunch of stuff on the other side, so I'm not sure if it's restarting the other application or if that one just died. This one is being a little bit confused. So I think I'm just going to stop this here. It's really struggling. And I'm going to go ahead and type in pip install -r requirements. Let's see if I can just install this manually. So here I did it. So we'll say accept. Yeah, you were hanging. I finished the install. I ran pip install -r requirements. Can you continue with what you were doing? I don't know what it was doing, but it was doing something. So we'll let it try to do whatever it was trying to finish. Oh, now let's just run it. Okay, so maybe it was done. Well, hold on. Before we do that, let's take a look and see what it did. So we have the Manga OCR, that looks good. Transcribing, we have the information there. Load the prompts, get the little translation, GPT-4. It's using GPT-4 again. Okay, we'll change this over to O. That's all we got to do to get it to use the right one. It just refuses to listen to us here. I think the other one is O as well, right? No. And I mean, it did work with the non-O. Maybe we'll just try it with the non-O, but I really don't like using it without the non-O. Oh, we have the S grade, so that's kind of cool. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and start this up. The biggest challenge here is that I got to keep writing out what it is that I need to do. So we're going to go over to whatever it is here, over here, the app. I'm going to give this a nice hard refresh here. Okay, and we're going to generate a sentence. So now the goal has changed. I'm changing it. It's going to be, we just write it out. So I got you can see here, I got a lot of Japanese on this. I'm going to write on this what I see here. And then I'm going to take a picture with my phone, okay, send it to my computer, and then we'll upload it and we'll see what the result is. This is going to be kind of frustrating because if I have to do this multiple times, it could get kind of annoying. But I want to see if it works, and all the plumbing's here, so maybe it will. So I'll be back in just a moment. I'm going to pause and write in my book, take a photo, and yeah, just give me a moment, okay? All right, so I took a photo. I got it on my computer. It's a little bit too large, but you can see at first, I was trying to write this sentence. It was a little bit long. But I was writing the letters too large, and then I was running out of room, so I tried it again. I did a little bit better on this third line, so that's going to be our image line that we're going to grab here. So I'm going to go ahead and paint, and we're going to cut this out like this. I'm going to make a new file here. We'll say don't save, and we'll paste that in. You can see this is a pretty large image. So 1004.3 by 136, it's probably fine. I'm going to go ahead and save this. So we'll say save as PNG. I'll save it to my desktop. I'm not sure what we have to have this as, but I'll just say sentence example. Where this could be kind of interesting, it's like you could have, let's imagine you had your phone and there's some way you could just show it on your phone, or if you had a webcam, you could just hold it up and then, you know, there's other integrations, but for this is okay. We're going to go ahead and upload this file. So I'm going to go find my desktop here in a folder, and I'm going to drag over that sentence. So here's that sentence. I hope it all just works. Otherwise, I have to do it multiple times. And so now we have our sentence here. Let's go ahead and submit it. And let's see what we get back. But this is the thing. You've got to use the apps and try to figure out, you know, does it work? Does it not work? Even if, you know, this is not our target sentence, we can just keep using the same thing and see what happens. And it's taking a long time here. I'm not sure because it has multiple steps or it's failing. It's a little bit hard to say, but I'm going to drag this off screen here for a second. And we actually do have an error. It says, cannot name tensor from on torch. Oh, okay. So well, that's unfortunate. So we'll go ahead and stop this here. It's not going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter here and see what happens. I'm not sure if this has to do with our thing here, but see, we need to update the dictionary values in the return statement to match Gradio's input out. Is that really what it is? It's talking about PyTorch and stuff. I thought it would have been something else. Okay, fair enough. That makes sense too, yeah. Now that we're getting kind of in the PyTorch realm, I almost kind of feel like I want to put this in a sandbox, but like a Conda environment. As soon as that starts happening, anytime you have to install PyTorch, that's where you want to do that. So we might regret not doing that, but we're going to try this anyway here. Let's see what happens. It wants us to restart the app. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this and restart it. I am going to totally cheat. And I'm just going to generate any sentence. I don't care what it is. And we'll just, this is obviously not the sentence we're writing. This says, Mainichi nihongo o benkyou suru koto ga daikite, I don't know what this word is, daiki desu. And so I'm going to go ahead and drag this one on in here, right? And we'll submit, and we get it back. It says error processing cannot import from touch. Okay. So we'll go ahead and grab this. We got a C grade. I'm surprised we got any grade. And we'll stop this. And this is where we might have to take over with the requirements. We'll just accept all here. CPU version. I mean, I have a GPU, so I'm really curious what's going on there. Is that what we had in there before, which was this? It's, now it has both? Error. I guess it doesn't fully matter if this one errors out, because I don't think it's related. Okay, we'll try that. PyTorch is finicky. But you know, if we're having serious issues, we can go back to Daria's code and see how she was working with it. And maybe like, because she would have a very specific version and stuff in her requirements.txt and a specific implementation. And if hers works, then we could just use that one. But we'll go ahead and start this up again. I'll give this a refresh, generate. We have a sentence. Ashita watashi no tomodachi ga hisobu ni kuru, and I don't know what that is, desu. So ashita, tomorrow, with my friend, we're going to play and come over, and then there's something else over here. And some of these are like, I don't know if this is really basic grammar. It doesn't seem like the prompt really was listening, but that's GPT-4. If we upgrade to 4.0, it might return back English, and it might actually give us a simpler sentence. The sentences seem like way off in terms of simplicity that I actually wanted. But it's fine for me, for my level of learning. And going a little bit slower. Name ST is not defined. Does it think it's Streamlit somewhere in here? ST. Yeah, we'll go. Do you by accident have Streamlit code in the Gradio file? Remember, we're not using Gradio anymore. Okay. So we'll give that a moment here. Yeah, you shouldn't have those in there. We'll give it a second there to fix its mistakes. But I feel like we're really close to getting something working here. It's just this last step. And if it works out, that'll be enough. If it gets back our transcription and our translation and it's close enough, even if we're not really following it through and checking it, I'll accept that it's done, because then we have most of the moving parts there. And it really just comes down to fine-tuning the application and making it work the way you want. Though the only thing that we should do before we wrap it up is we should make sure that it sends back the endpoint to our learning application so that we can use it for study. So it's going to tell us to run this again. We'll go ahead and stop and start this. Good. And we'll go back over to here. We'll give this a refresh. I'm going to run this again. I'm going to go ahead and do this. And I'm going to go ahead and submit this. The other thing is, like, if it's grading whether the whole thing got right, the question is like, did it find the word that was correct in it, right? So it came back, and now we have it. So we have Kana Jawa. It doesn't look like it matches. Kana Jo Ga. No, it does not match whatsoever. Well, I mean, let's take a closer look here. It's a little bit hard because I can't see this one. Maybe we can make the transcription larger. Can you make the transcription box as large as the sentence generated box? We'll just stop that there, because I'm having a hard time to read it. But, we're getting an output back, and so that's really interesting. Okay, so it's going to correct it. That's fine. And we'll go back, give it a moment here. So now I'm really just tempted to bring it back to a single word, because the sentences aren't simple. And I mean, we could keep working in the prompt document. Maybe we should just have a single word, and we can remove the sentence step. I'm not sure, but we'll say Python Gradio app. I'm going to restart this up again. We'll refresh this. We'll generate a new sentence. To wake up, Okiru. Okiru is right here. My asa roku ji ni okeru koto ni shitemasu. Okay, so that looks good and all. We'll go ahead and drag that in. We will submit this. And here, I mean, at least it's consistent. So this character matches up, this character matches up, ga. These don't. I mean, to be fair, those aren't written very well. I'm not sure why that messed up. Well, hold on. It did grab this, and it did grab that. So it seems like it got confused by these. And to be fair, that is a bit of a mess, right? Koto ni na, makes it iyo. Temas. So it didn't get the whole end. Okay. And so here I would say that, well, first of all, obviously it doesn't match. By her waiting for the end, right? And so, wow, that's a bit morbid. And we got a C grade. So the thing is that I would say that there's a few things. Like, we have the grading, yes, but the other thing is, like, if we're here to practice vocabulary, then maybe the app would be sending over target sentences that it has, and then that's what we should be practicing on, because if we're trying to score points on writing, maybe that makes more sense. But maybe what we'll do, I'm just trying to decide here. I don't know. I'm trying to decide, because I made this a little bit more complicated than it had to be. Like, I like the idea of writing out sentences, but I don't trust it to generate out something that is concise enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to commit what I have right now, and then I'm going to do an iteration on it so that we don't lose the code. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and well, you know what we could do? I could just keep the code around and make another version of it. So we'll make another one here. I'm going to call it Gradio Simple, like word pie, right? And so this will be that one. And so I'm going to go ahead and grab this. We'll just accept all here, accept all. It's all fine. It's all good. It's all good. We'll just stop this here. Don't do any more. It's good. It's fine. Accept all, accept all. Great. So we're going to copy this app here. We're going to copy this whole thing. I'm going to go over this one, paste it in here. Yeah, I said accept all, just accept it. Okay, so we're going to reference this one. We're saying Gradio Word. This has the same code as the Gradio app, but I want to change the way it works. I just want it to pick a random word, and the user must submit an image. This code has the same as the Gradio app, but I want to change the way it works. Instead of a sentence, it will present a single word from the list. We don't need to generate a sentence. The user needs to upload their image. And we still need the grading, but the grading is trying to tell if the user was able to write the word well. Okay, so please, let's go ahead and do that. So we'll let it go do that. And so maybe this will pare it down. I really hope it doesn't touch the other one. There we go. And so we're just going to simplify the code, and we're going to just go basically write it. So now it's closer to like what Daria did, but it will just be a word instead of a single kana, like the hiragana or katakana. And this will tie better into the app because it'll send it back. But like if you're doing this, it's like you need some way to be able to write it quickly, right? And so, maybe what we should have had is what Daria had, and the ability to write it in place. I'd rather just upload an image. I'd rather just do that, but I can see how that workflow is not that efficient. But we'll give it a moment here to update the code, and then we will see what it's done. Okay. So here it's suggesting that it's changed the code to do that. Let's go take a look here. So I'm going to go here, and this is the same. So it's taking out generate sentence. It's going to get a random word, which is fine. And the grade submission is still using GPT-4. Okay, the format's kind of weird, which is fine. The student is asked this. I'm not sure why it's doing this in line like this. Okay. All right, well, let's take it and see what happens. So we'll just go ahead and accept these changes here. Can I accept all? Accept all changes. And I'm going to now start up this one instead. Okay, and we will look for, I'm trying to find my Chrome window here. It's this one. So give us a refresh. Very simple. So we get a new word. So here is the word we have here. It's shimeru. This is to close. Shimeru. Yeah, I think that's what it is. And so here it's saying to upload an image. Can we just draw it instead? I mean, it'd be nice if we could. Well, hold on here. There's a webcam. Maybe we could use the webcam. That might be interesting. Let's try that out. So I'm just writing it on my pad really quick here. Okay. By the way, like that's one font of kanji. Like there's lots of ways to write. Oh, my mechanical pencil snapped. There's many ways to write it, but I'm just going to go ahead here and do my best. Okay, let's try this webcam button. Webcam. Click to access webcam. Allowed this time, yep. And that's one of them. We have OBS, NVIDIA. I have a webcam right here, and I'm just trying to get it to work. Let me see. Maybe I got to unplug it and plug it back in. 1 second. Okay. And so I just plugged in and unplugged one of my webcams. I'm just trying to get it to work. Just a nice refresh here. Get a new word. Now I have to rewrite the word, but maybe if I go here, not EOS. Yeah, this thing's junk. I really hate this webcam. It's a Elgato webcam, and it's just like half the time it doesn't show up. So I was hoping that maybe we could pull that in there. So maybe what we can do, instead of having to upload an image, instead of uploading an image for Gradio Word, can we just write it in place? Is there a plugin, or can Gradio support that, like writing on canvas? Let's see if it can figure that out, because if it just replaces that, then that'll save us a lot of time. Oh, it has a Scratchcat component. Okay. We'll give it a moment here. I'll just pause while it's thinking. Oh, wait, no, it's done. Okay, so it brings it in here. Open this diff. Okay, so we'll try it again. And we'll bring this down. Refresh this. But, you know, imagine if you're a real language school, you'd have to have people to try the apps out. And so it kind of makes sense if you can prototype it quickly. And Gradio, again, I really like Gradio, but we do have a little bit of a problem here. It's complaining. So I'll just tell it some stuff here. Yeah, it's changed. So I guess it's going to go and try to fix it. Seems it's changed, but it doesn't seem like it looked up how it changed. But if it works, I don't care. Okay, no, can you? Okay, because it's getting confused. You can do it. It's interesting, like it'll create an outline, geeksforgeeks.org. Geeks for Geeks. I'm gonna look that up off screen here. Geeks for Geeks. I think that's just a blog, right? Yeah, it's just a computer science portal. What did it change? Let me update the Sketchpad implementation. Okay, can I see what's different? It's sometimes annoying that I can't see the difference here, but we'll stop it here. We'll try to run it again. Geeks for Geeks. And I'm going to refresh this. Still doesn't work. Radius. Yeah, it's like it doesn't know its implementation. Simpler version? What do you mean simpler version? So Sketchpad here. Okay. This is where I might have to start like reading up on it to get it to work. Oh, now it's running. Okay, good. Refresh this. And so now let's try this. Tetsudao. So we'll go like this. Oh, that pen is way, 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 way too big. But at least we have something here, right? Tetsudao. Submit. Okay, well, it's getting close here, so that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and paste in that error so that it can try to solve that. While it's doing that, I'm going to look for the brush stroke and try to make that smaller because that was a little bit too big. I want to see what that sketchpad is called. We'll go here, sketchpad. And it seems like it thinks it's fixed it, but I'm going to go look up sketchpad. GR sketchpad. Sketch pad. Here we go. Brush. Okay, Gradio, sketch pad, brush size. Oh dear. Okay. Anyway, we'll start it. We'll start it up again. We'll see if that fixes our immediate issue here. We'll generate a new word. Oh, let's make another word here. That's like skating, I think. I just want something easier to write. There we go. That's an easier one to write. And so we'll do this. Oh, I did the stroke wrong, but that's fine. You can see that we really need a smaller brush. It'd been nice to know what it changed, eh? So we still have error processing submission. It's still happening. Compose a dictionary with the image data, not the base64 string. Let me update the image. Okay, great. But yeah, the one thing I think we need to do is figure out how to get the brush smaller because that thing's really annoying. And we will now start this up again. And we'll try this again here. Get a new word. Sure. And we'll do this. I mean, it tells us what the word is down below, right? This one's a little bit hard to write. Again, the pen's too large. Oh my goodness, just does not work. Come on. I thought this would be easier. And yeah, image handling is a very hard part of it, so I'm not really surprised that's our problem. We'll go ahead and accept this. We will stop this and run it again. We'll go back over to here. We'll give this a nice refresh. Get a new word. I don't want to write that. We'll write this, sukao, which means to use. Sukao. Submit that. Please just work. This is the problem. Like, if you want it to work, I'd have to read it more thoroughly. Sure, you can do that if you want. Generate new word, generate new word. There we go. Me, say, Ru, submit. That's going to fail, which is totally fine. We can use the image component in sketch mode. Okay. So yeah, we're just like trading one problem for another, which is kind of frustrating. And so we'll start it up again. Nope, now we get this problem. We're just going in circles, it feels like. Oh boy. This is frustrating. This is really, really frustrating. Yeah, the parameters have changed. Yeah, we know. We'll run it again. We'll run it 100 times. It's just gone back to the, whatever. Let's just do this one, submit. It's terrible now. It's terrible. Look, let's say, okay. Let's go back to just having image upload. In Gradio app, it was working fine. So just get that code because we know it works. Okay. And so if we can just get back in a working state, that's fine. And, you know, you just see how this gets really finicky. In terms of a prototype, like if we get the image working, then if you want to develop it further, then you'd actually build it properly with a like an API backend with Flask, whatever, and a proper front end. And then that's where you do more fiddling around. But I feel like you'd have less problems that way. So here, I think it's reverting it back to how it originally was. I'm hoping that's the case. We're going to stop it and start it again. We're going to go and bring this back over to wherever that application was. It just had the window open. And we're going to go give this a refresh. It should be running. So, yeah, accept. It didn't really revert it back. Is it sure that it did that? Uh-huh. Great. We'll try this again. We'll go back over to here. We'll refresh. We'll generate our new word. It doesn't really matter because I'm just going to drag in an image from wherever that was. I just had the folder open. I got too many folders going on here. And I'm looking for, was it downloads maybe? It was on my desktop. Yeah, there it is. Kuruma, which I used when we were talking to Daria. Okay, there we go. So we have this. Great. And so I would say we'll just change the app. So, okay, it's working now. Let's change the grading so that it just says if it matches or it doesn't. Okay, let's remove the grade and feedback. Let's just show if it is right or wrong. Okay, so we'll just do that, and then the only thing we have to do is hook it up to our app so that it tracks back to Lang Portal, and then we're done. And so I would think that the last part's going to be really easy because we just have to tell what endpoint we want it to be. And I'm going to go look for it as we are working through this. So in my study sessions, we have a review endpoint somewhere here, / review. Maybe it's under groups, I'm not sure. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. Somewhere in here, there's review. The review here, review. Just tell me where the darn endpoint is. It's sometimes hard to find. So we have reset and review. So this is the endpoint that we need, right? So I'm going to go back to our other app or other thing here, Windsurf. And it's still trying to figure out how to do that. That's like such an easy task. What is it doing? Like I asked for like very basic stuff. I'm not sure why it's so confused. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go run this, I guess. We'll stop it. We'll start it. We'll go over to here. We'll give this a refresh. We'll get a new word. Kai monosuru, that's like things to buy or, shopping things to buy. We'll hit submit. We'll see if that still works. Incorrect. Correct word. So, just remove the correct word box. Like, because that doesn't do anything for us. Remove the correct word box. Okay, we're almost done. I'm going to stop this, start it back up. I'm going to go and refresh this. I'm going to generate a new word. Obviously, that's not my word here. We'll submit it. And kuruma, it's incorrect. So now what I want to do, great. So we have this, and we're very close to having this done. So the last part is that endpoint that we have here. So, when it's graded, it needs to submit to correct true or false to the back end at 5,000 for this endpoint. Okay. It needs to pass the word ID and the group ID. I'm not sure what it is. Let's take a look quickly if that's true. Just the word ID and the session study ID, the word ID. Okay. Because up here, the session should still be open here, right? So this is a writing session that's active. And what we're hoping for is, yeah, we'll accept here. Accept all. Let's run it, if this will work. So we'll go ahead and come back over here. Refresh. We'll get a word. Doesn't really matter what it is. And that's to make. Yeah, down there, to make. So drag that in here. We'll hit submit. We'll give it a moment here. And the thing is, like, we don't even need the last grader. Like, we don't even need ChatGPT at this point, because if the last thing is just checking it, really, it would just match the word against it, right? Because it's either 1-to-1. And so if we wanted to make this even more efficient and more proper, we'd actually remove the last one here and it'd be a lot more simplified. So I'll add the functionality to submit the grading into the result to the back end. So this one was wrong. We'll go back or look here. Did this submit as wrong? I don't see anything there. So we'll go back over to this, back over to here, and we'll inspect. So it didn't seem like it did it. We'll go ahead and submit it again. It's not submitting. I'm going to stop and start it one more time. We're so close. We're so close to being done. And we'll give this a nice refresh here. We'll generate this out again. I'm going to drag the wrong word in. I'm going to hit submit. I'm watching here to see if anything else happens here. Nothing's getting called. It's not calling the endpoint. Okay. Submit results. Okay, so we will stop this. We will start it again. We will go back over to here, wherever that is. Refresh this. Guess what time it is. We'll get the word. We're going to drag this over into here. We're going to go ahead and hit submit. We have coup de mal, which is fine. It says incorrect. I don't think that logging's happening anymore. Inspect here. Method not implemented. Too many arguments for endpoint. I'm not sure. I see no logging. In the console log in Chrome, this. It's kind of frustrating because the other one works, so why wouldn't this one work, right? Oh, does the Gradio app have its own log? Oh, here it is. Well, hold on. Hold on. We're creating the study session in it, but we need to make sure we get a first word. Let's modify the code to get the study session when getting a new word. No, 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 no. Why would we have to create a study session? We can get the study session from the query string param. It's in session ID. Okay. Well, I mean, it wouldn't even know that, so that's probably why. So probably that's the problem, is going to nowhere. Though it wasn't showing us anywhere, but maybe because the URL was incorrect because it didn't have a value there, it was messing up. And so that might have been our issue. And if that's it, then we're done. We'd have to check the correct, but I'll leave that for you folks to do that. I'm going to go over to here. I'm going to give this a nice hard refresh. I'm going to go ahead and stop this, start this. And we have, come on. What are you doing here? Like, it has worked before, so why is it now messing up, right? Like, it got words, so why is it doing it weird for that one, right? Great. Get new word. Drag this in. Grade it. Submit it. We'll go over to here. Refresh. Inspect. Let's go check the logs, I guess. Okay, so we go here. It's not like passing it along. I don't know why the code's so stupid. But this is where, like, it would be beneficial for me to spend more time writing the code than to let it to do it here, because this keeps happening where it's like it's making really dumb mistakes. Yeah, you got to pass it, otherwise it's not going to work. I don't understand. Like, it got the word ID, so why couldn't get the other one? And so that makes me just think, okay, I should open this up and see how they got the group ID one. No, you obviously can get the group ID, so you should be able to get the session ID. We should not have to set an nvar. Come on. Now it's just trying to finish the work without actually doing it. Okay, and if this doesn't work, then I'm just going to debug it myself and make it work. So we'll go ahead and we'll refresh this. We'll refresh this again. I'm going to drag in this one here. We're going to generate, doesn't matter. I mean, it needs it to match it against it, right? And so now it should work. We'll go back, refresh this. Please, please work. There we go. We are done. We are done. It works. It's good enough. What problems do we have with this application? Well, first of all, I made it too complicated to begin with. And we should have went this simpler use case. I still have the other ChatGPT agent in here. We don't need any ChatGPT agents whatsoever because we are matching the transcription. You know, Streamlit still kind of sucks. I don't like Streamlit. Gradio is really, really good, so I like Gradio. And we really need to be more involved in our code because, you know, we get to a certain point and then we're just now asking it to fix it. And these fixes could be really, really simple, but we're just wasting tons of time on these little fixes where it's great to get the plumbing in place, but we have to just take over at some point. I'm going to commit this code so that you all folks have this here. But yeah, there we go. It took a little bit longer than I was hoping, as per usual. And we do have a lot of stuff in here. I'm just making sure there's nothing I don't want in here. I can't tell because we brought in the big one, but yeah, so we'll just say writing app implementation. I should have really committed that stuff separately because I can't even see what my commits look like. Nothing staged. Let's stage it all. There we go. I guess I could have just fixed it right now. But I'm going to go ahead and that's all staged. We're going to commit that. I am done. We will push that. Oh my goodness. It's a nightmare when you have to pull when you have a big push. So I'll go ahead and do this. Just please just push. Please just merge. Please don't give me a complicated merge. I can't handle that right now. Yes. There's just the Spanish prompt. Okay, git push. I don't know why it's opening in Nano. I don't want Nano. I want it to open in VS Code. But that is now pushed. I am free. And there you go. We'll see you in the next one, okay? Ciao.